Hello everyone and welcome again to Gaming Boulevard. Today I have a very special game for you guys. I didn't have high hopes for this game, but after the presentation I really was like, and being truly honest, I want this game really bad. But let me explain why. So the game that I saw in at Gamescom was Metronomicon. I don't think everybody has heard of this, but I even didn't heard of it. But after the presentation, I was actually pretty surprised about the quality and just the fun elements that are in this game. Why I love this game is the fact that the presentation made it very clear that it combines two elements that I really like. For example, you have rhythm-based gaming. For example, you have games like Guitar Hero, or you have games like Elite Beat Agents, where this game gives you songs, gives you a certain beat, and you have to perform different key combinations to get a perfect score, or you won't complete the mission. So those are the rhythm-based games. So this element of rhythm-based gaming is in this game, but it also has this RPG side. It has the RPG side from like Final Fantasy. You have your team, the warrior, the berserker, the healer, the mage, and they all have these different kind of skills, and you have to use those skills to kill enemies, get experience, learn new skills, get equipment, get better, and eventually clear out the whole end boss thing. And this game, Metronomicon, combines those two elements very perfectly. As you can see on the off-screen footage, you have each character, and each character has this rift coming from top to the ground floor, and these rifts will show you different key combinations. Now you have these rifts, you have this under control. Now I want to explain this on a very good way, because it was a little bit confusing for me in the beginning when I saw this game, but it's actually pretty logic. So first of all, you can see on top of the screen that you have different skills, but these skills can only be used if you're completing the right section of the rift. So for example, you see the mage, and you saw a blue rift, a red rift, and the yellow rift. So once you filled up the blue rift and you switch lanes, because as a player you can switch these rifts to actually activate their skills, but you can see you have these different color segments. Once you've completed the blue section of this rift, you will be able to, I'm talking about the mage right now, so you can actually activate that skill when you're changing your rift. So when you're growing further in your key combinations, when you're just perfect scoring the whole rift, you go from blue to red, and red section will give you the flame ability, and the yellow section will give you the lightning ability. So each time you switch these rifts, the characters will activate their ability. So it's your job to actually perform these key combinations as perfect as you can. And this is where things actually get hectic, because you have to keep in mind that you have so many elements that will actually give you the victory or the defeat. I mean, you have to perfect score these combinations, but you also have to choose when you're going to switch your rift, and you have to you always have to keep in mind that the enemy is also striking. So for example, you have this healer. Once you see that your life bar is getting down, you have to go to your healer. Hopefully you get your key combinations right, and eventually use his healing skill. Now the RPG element is very present in this game. I mean, all these characters, they can be equipped with different kind of equipment that can be unlocked during the game by using different shard fragments that you lose from your enemies, or by completing challenges and get an achievement. But they also have their own set of skills, and each time in the beginning of each mission you will have the ability to actually change these skills and change their equipment. Now the developer told me that they actually it's more of You also have skins that actually is more of a cosmetic aspect of these characters. So, for example, you can equip your warrior with another sword, but the sword won't look different. But you do have skins, and these skins can completely change your character, but they don't have any stats updates. Okay, other RPG elements is the fact that you're getting experience while you're playing the game. If you defeat an enemy, you get experience, and when you get experience, you will be able to upgrade your character, and it will get stronger. It's something that's very difficult in this game, because you have to keep in mind that all of these elements, once they're perfectly combined, then the game will actually work. It has a very difficult learning curve, but it's really enjoyable. And just like guitar, you just have to figure out the combinations. You have to play a couple of times before you're really getting the hang of it. But one thing I do want to mention is this can be played with different controls, like I said. But most of the time, people will actually just use their console controller, like the Xbox One has. So you have your D-pad, which is easy to actually respond to your key combinations, but you can also use your A, B, X, and Y. X is your left, and Y is your top, and so on. So these buttons, although they don't have these different arrows on top of them, but they have colors. So your brain is actually going to be very confused in the beginning, but these can also be used for your different combinations. Another thing that Metronomicon does great is the soundtrack. I mean, you have a rhythm-based game, so your soundtrack has to be good. And they told me it was 50% original songs, but also the other half is actually songs that are performed by known bands, maybe the more indie bands, but the bands that are actually known. I haven't talked about story yet, but there's actually a story as well in the game. It doesn't look like it, but it is. But it's kind of stupid, but it's cartoony, and it really works. I wasn't expecting to work, but it actually fits all together perfectly. It blends perfectly well. So the story is about different, how do you say it? Not meteors, but different sounds are crashing down into the ground. They're coming from the air, and these music entities draw monsters, and these monsters are forced to dance, and it's your job as an apprentice of the School of Magic to eliminate these sound entities, because they're making a nuisance the whole night through. So you want to get rid of those to get a good night's sleep. So the teachers of your school are trying to or actually figuring out what you can use to actually defeat those monsters, and in the end they believe that using these musical entities will give you magic that can actually be used to defeat your enemies. And as you have seen on off screen, it has most of the time it has this castle-like background. Well, that's actually the different missions. So you start off at the base of a certain dungeon, and you fight your way through the boss on top of the dungeon. The higher the level, the harder the boss. You'll definitely see some boss fights in the off-screen footage, and these boss fights, they get really complicated. I mean, I was fighting this boss, and a lot of things happened in my rift. For example, he would shake up my combinations, so they would go left from right, but you still have to make the right combinations. Another thing is that rocks will fall down from the rift that you selected from top to the ground floor, and you have to avoid them by changing the lane on time. So if you don't do that, you interrupt your skill, and you have to sort of go over again with your perfect combinations. Another thing that I didn't have mentioned is the fact that you also have an ultimate attack. You might have seen the left life, so the left bar is your life bar, but on top of that there's this round thing where you see that you have an ultimate attack. So once you activate this ultimate attack, your rift stays on the same character, and you just have to hit those nodes as perfectly as you can. The higher the amount of nodes that you perform correctly, the bigger the damage will be. But just like an RPG, some enemy types will be more how do you say it? They will take more damage from certain attacks. For example, if you have a plant-like enemy, fire will deal a great amount of damage to that enemy. So yeah, these are a little bit the thoughts that I had about this game, and you might think this is a confusing game, and it is, but it's fun to play, and you definitely have to check it out. It's definitely something new, and in this yeah, I mean the problem I have with latest releases is it's almost like they don't have any kind of inspiration, the developers. And I believe in this developer because he's trying something new. He's trying something maybe very confusing, but it's worth a shot. I mean, a lot of developers won't even take a chance to actually try something new, and this guy does it, and it's actually a pretty cool game. You'll have to check it out as well. So it will be released also in September. It has gone gold. And yeah, check it out. I mean, it might be a little bit confusing. It might have a difficult learning curve, but it will be a blast to play. It's always a single player version of this game, but because the developer told me that maybe they're going to look into multiplayer, but nothing is actually sure about that. So there's a story mode, but you also have this random mode, just like Guitar Hero has in their latest edition, so you can actually replay certain songs and get a high score. Or there's also this arena mode where you get a challenge and you have to complete a certain objective while playing against a certain enemy. And I think there's also an arcade mode, kind of like that. You're just playing the game with random team members, and you just have to fight your way through the songs that are being thrown at you. Last thing I would like to say, just like I said, it has a lot of RPG elements, like a lot of these active skills. Yeah, I already said it, they are active. I mean, but you also have passive skills. For example, if you have a perfect combination of 30, your warrior will do this ultimate attack whether your rift is on him or not. So that's a kind of cool twist that the game has. So yeah, check it out and enjoy the off-screen footage because it's a lot to take in. But I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy it. So stay tuned to Gaming Boulevard and see you next time. Okay, guys, bye.